Give me a Mason. Give me a Mason. Cade Cunningham on the floor. Let's hear it. How's he going to announce it?
Mason. Nice.
How's he going to announce it?
Cade Cunningham.
A lot of the guys here are like, Maz, why do you always bother Rod Beard? I'm like, well, that's my guy. You know, I like having him on. I've always had him on in the past. Rod, do I bug you too much?
No.
All right.
I would tell you.
I would tell you. Thank you. Hey, Rod, I got breaking news for you from our NBA expert, Andrew, here. Listen to this in case you missed this.
Okay, Rod. Detroit's internal.
Is this mic on?
Yeah.
According to Adrian Wojnarowski's on ESPN, Detroit's internal meetings are still revolving around three players for the number one pick on Thursday. It's between Cade, Jalen Green, and Evan Mobley. Sources tell ESPN Detroit isn't fully there yet on committing to Cunningham with their first overall choice.
So are they not going to take Cade Cunningham, Rod?
My three dinner choices are revolving around steak, chicken, or lobster. We're closing in on lobster, but I mean, we'll settle for. I mean, can it get to Thursday already? Because this stuff is just ridiculous now. About they're looking at this. The Rockets are not expected to make a pick now. All that's saying is it's just posturing by the Pistons to say, make us a better offer. We haven't gotten the offer that we want, and if you make us take Cade Cunningham, then I guess we'll have to take Cade Cunningham. Come on, I mean, be for real. This is not brain surgery whatsoever.
Rod Beard joins us from the Detroit News, covers the Pistons like nobody. And what will it take for the Pistons to trade the number one pick?
Insanity. Just plain insanity. There's no reason to trade this pick. There's not a package that a team is going to put together at the last minute to try to make this worth their while. And if it does, it's going to have to include Houston, because I can't see them trading down past the number 2 pick at this point, because you don't know what the other team is going to do. If you get the number 3 pick and you end up with Evan Mobley, that's not really the booby prize, but it's not what you wanted heading into this thing.
Okay, the guys they compare him to, we've heard them all, but Luka Doncic obviously stands out. 48 points in his first game as an Olympian. Are we really getting that kind of player?
I think he can be, because he does so many things well. He doesn't need to be a scorer. He doesn't need to be have the ball in his hands to be effective. He can do some other things, and he's got the size of 6'8". You can do a lot of different things with Cade Cunningham. He's not just a one-trick pony whatsoever.
Go ahead, Easy.
Hey, Rod, I'm still rubbing my eyes. I still can't believe it's true that we have the number one overall pick in this year's draft, and it's a team player like Cade I'm a big fan of. I did want to ask, though, I got caught up in all that, and I didn't notice that free agency starts next week. Is there any free agents that you think that the Pistons could be shopping for to give Cade Cunningham to work with?
No, I think it's just going to be stuff on the fringes that they don't have a lot of cap space to work with, and if they make trades, it's going to be on the smaller end, and it might even be something like the mid-level exception or something like that. So I wouldn't expect any big moves outside of the draft. And if they do something, they can pair those second-round picks with somebody else or one of the other extra wing players that they have with the draft pick to do something else. I just don't see them doing a lot in free agency.
Rod Beard joins us, Detroit News. Did you hear ESPN's Mike Schmitz? I want to play this cut for you. What kind of player are we getting in Cade Cunningham? This is Mike Schmitz from ESPN.
Well, Don, you said it's the worst kept secret, and that secret is Cade Cunningham at number 1 overall to the Detroit Pistons. Listen, this kid is a bona fide stud. When you talk about the modern NBA, every team's looking for that 6'8" playmaker who can also play multiple positions, and I love his versatility. I mean, you can use him like a Luka Doncic, like a 6'8" point guard who can make step-back threes, who can pass out of pick and roll, and then you can also use him like a Chris Middleton, a guy who can catch and shoot, can play out of the mid-post, has a really high floor, and like I said, a Doncic type of upside.
Woj?
Pretty good. I like that, Mike Schmitz, and it's nothing different than what you have been telling us the whole time, Rod, but it's kind of good when you hear something like that and you guys have the number 1 pick.
Yeah, how do you look at that video and say, nah, we don't want that. We'd rather have somebody else. That's the crazy part of this, but I think it's still posturing by the Pistons to try to get a better trade offer out of it, and they can weigh what those offers are. And there have been reports that Oklahoma City made a trade offer that just wasn't good enough, a significant and an acceptable sort of trade offer. But the Pistons are looking for that ridiculous offer that they can't turn down, and they just haven't seen that yet.
Rod, do you think if for any crazy wild reason we were able to get that you can't turn down offer, that offer you just can't say no to. Do you think that the city of Detroit would be okay with it, even if it was a good offer? I mean, this
Hell
is
no.
Yeah, I feel that you can't. You just can't. Even if you get future round picks or whatever, like, how can you pass up on this player? And if the organization feels like, hey, this is something that's too good for us to pass up on, do you think that there's anything possible that could happen that the city of Detroit would accept?
I think it's possible. The kind of diehard basketball people would say, hey, Jalen Green, if that's who they end up with, is a very, very good player. He fits what they're looking for as well, but he's not a 4-position guy. He's probably a 2-position guy. The other piece of that is what else goes with that. People know Troy Weaver's history of talent acquisition and talent evaluation, and you would say if he chose to do something else, then he really likes that other player. But it could also mean that they're getting another current player that has a profile that you know, and they wouldn't just do this for future considerations. This is about players that they know right now who have an NBA skill set. So if you're thinking Oklahoma City, maybe you want a Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, and somehow they get a top 5 or top 4 pick out of this in addition to that. I think people might understand that a little bit more, but you need to give a name that people see and I've seen them play for a couple of years, and they know that this is an apples to apples sort of thing.
Rod, with Cade being a primary ball handler in any rotation, we also drafted that last year in Killian Hayes. Do you think he moves to the bench? Do you think they can coexist on the floor together? Do you think we've yet to see what Killian develops into? Like, does he become like a shooter at that point? Or how do you see those guys, I guess, meshing or pairing together if we do draft Cade?
This is the sort of storyline that I don't understand is saying that Killian can't play off the ball because he showed it at the end of the year last year. And Cade doesn't need the ball to be effective either. They're both good facilitators, and from what we've seen, the Pistons like having multiple facilitators on the floor. So I think this is actually, more than anything, an enhancer. It helps both Killian and Cade to be able to alternate being on and off the ball. Excuse me.
It's okay, man. You need a drink? Take a drink. I could talk for a minute.
No, I'm good. I'm good. No, I think it works for both of them that they can be on and off the ball as needed, and neither one of them has to facilitate the offense and do it all the time.
All right, let's talk about a couple of guys that they signed to qualifying offers today. Frank Jackson, Hamidou Diallo. That means if they go anywhere, the Pistons get something for them. But would you rather have them, or would you rather have a kickback from a team?
No, I'd rather have the option of that, and I don't think there's a surprise in either one of those. That Diallo is a guy that they were looking to sign long term. They made that trade at the deadline to try to keep him long term because of the relationship, partly because that they had from Diallo being in Oklahoma City with Troy Weaver. So that's not a surprise. And anybody who watched 5 minutes of Frank Jackson last year knew that he was going to get a qualifying offer too. So no surprise either way. It's just going to be what those final contracts look like and whatever other pieces they're able to bring in around those guys.
Hey, last thing on Cade. Last week you guys got a chance to at least chat with him. I do have a cut here that talks about if the Pistons drafted you, Cade, how would you feel about that?
You know, the organization has a lot of great people within it. I mean, starting from the owners, Troy Weaver's a great GM, and then, you know, all the way down, they got, you know, just great people throughout. So I learned a lot on my visit. You know, if they take me, I'd definitely be excited to be there. And, you know, they're a great organization. They got a lot of good things going for them. I think they're in the restoration, you know, period. I don't think they're rebuilding. I think they're just trying to restore what they got going on. So definitely an exciting time for that organization for sure.
Do you think he's telling the truth? Is he happy coming to Detroit?
Come on, man. If he used restoration, that's Troy Weaver's specific word. If he didn't pick up on anything else, it was, hey, in your future press conferences, make sure you say restoration instead of rebuilding. Come on, man. These are just Easter egg clues about what's going to happen to me. And unless there's something else that happens, some kind of shocker, and somebody comes with a ridiculous offer again, let's talk about Cade Cunningham on Thursday and just fast forward.
Mm-hmm. You got it. We'll talk to you again on Thursday. Don't worry. I'm not going to let you off the hook. How about those Olympians losing yesterday to France?
Are you hitting the panic button? Because Fish keeps telling us to relax.
Hit the panic button.
You start looking to see where the panic button is. I think I said last week, Mass, The issue is they don't have a point guard, and they don't have somebody to facilitate offense and set up the other guys. Kevin Durant has to find his shot. Damian Lillard has to find his shot a little bit too much. If you've got a Chris Paul type point guard or a Trae Young, he's setting those guys up, and you're getting so many more easy baskets than the U.S. is able to get right now. They have to work too hard, and that's the biggest thing that I see. And just defensively, they don't seem to be doing anything. They're not trying to stop anybody. And granted, France is good. Give France all the credit that they deserve. And Nigeria, like we said, is better than they were in previous Olympics. But again, you've got to look at what this team is and where the shortcomings are. And it seems to be just that they don't have that facilitator setup man. But even with Drew Holiday, who played his butt off the other day, it's still not there. There's something that's missing, and I think that's just the setup guy.
Tony Parker's not on that team, right? The French team, last time I checked?
It felt like it. I mean, just the guys that they had were enough that you just said, this is crazy. Why can't this team score, and why can't they stop anybody? And the baskets should just be easier than what they are. That's the most frustrating part of it.
Go ahead, Easy.
Is it selfishness? It's so hard to pinpoint what the issue is there. But we know Troy Weaver isn't afraid to pull the trigger and make a move if he wants to move up into a draft to grab the guys that he believes in. With the amount of second rounders we have, is there guys you see in that second round that have some value, or do you think he'll package them up to move back into that first round? And if so, do you see a guy like Sekou Doumbouya being part of that conversation? Those conversations?
Yeah, I think he could be part of the conversation, but you don't want to give up on a young guy so quickly. I think he's just 20, may have just turned 21. But there's still so much more to figure out about what his ceiling is and what kind of player he can be. And you just got Killian Hayes. You just got a different facilitator for him to play with. And if you add Cade Cunningham, that's another guy. Those guys on the court can make everybody around them better. And I think that's the part we've got to see before we make any decisions about the rest of the roster. But, yeah, I think they could look at moving into the late part of the first round. You could target maybe the 26, 25, somewhere in that range to get a quality guy at the end of the first round. But, again, you're talking about another guaranteed contract, another piece that you want to fit in. But that might be a G League sort of thing, too, is that they've got enough young guys. They just need to start getting a more solid foundation with it, too.
All right, Rod. Thanks, man. Well, rest up. We'll talk to you on Thursday.
Yes.
Pistons draft party. We're going to be a part of that, and we're going to have a great time. Looking forward to it, man. First time since 1970 that the Pistons are actually on the clock. Thanks a lot, man.
Can't wait.
All right, we'll see you. Thank you, guys.
Rod
Thanks.
Beard, Detroit News. It's all good, man. It's all good. And you kids,
Yeah.
Rod.
Make sure
you
that you
kids.
follow him on social media, DET News, Rod Beard, BEARD.
Once Cade is officially a Piston,
Yeah.
will you guys relax a little?
I still can't.
I mean, I can't. You guys are like all over
Man, this is the first star of our generation.
You're
for
right.
the Pistons.
You're right.
That's what I'm asking.
Even
No, he's
though
right.
they were more of a team. This is the first star. Even Grant Hill, I was too young for.
Go ahead, Drew.
I'm pumped. Yeah.
Is this mic on?
No, it's not.
I didn't think so. I mean, what the hell are you doing, Andrew? That's okay.
Jeez, be nice.
I
finish
think
what you were saying.
it won't sink into me. I think till opening night, until I'm at that opener and he goes out the tunnel and he announces it. I'm like, oh, he's actually a Piston. Like this is
It's real.
It's real.
Can you give me a Mason? Give me a Mason. Cade Cunningham on the floor. Let's hear it. How's he
There's
going to
only one
announce it?
Mason. Nice.
How's he gonna announce it?
Cade Cunningham!
You're gonna have to come up with something, man.
No, there was nobody better to do that than you, Easy.
Thank you.
Nobody could have nailed
Hey.
it the way you did.
Hey, we got plenty of football
Yeah.
coming up,
Yes.
and there's a great thing that came out over the weekend. Of course, it attracts my eye. What's the best
Volleyball.
What's
I'm
the
just kidding.
besides beach volleyball? What's the best retro sports
excited.
logo? Now we've talked about NFL helmets and all, but this is the whole thing.
Overall.
We'll show you the tweet. You guys can pick yours. We all picked ours.
Right.
And we're looking forward to that. More news on Deshaun Watson and plenty more coming up here on The Hook. Keep it here on Woodward
Fucked
Sports
and
Network.
drank all night. Well, acted all alright. Had no need to fight tonight.